Hello, my name is Anita Bozer, and for the Therapeutic Fitness Challenge today, we're going to do aerobics. Many of my clients tell me that they really miss that endorphin high they got from doing aerobics, whether it's jogging or just a long time on the elliptical or treadmill. But when they got injured, they weren't able to go back to that level of activity, and they miss that adrenaline rush that they got from doing their exercises. So aerobic exercise is very important. However, you don't want to get more injured when you're doing it. So this is my version, keeping in mind that we're going to be using what we learned from undulating, that we're going to keep our movements varied. We're going to stop anything that hurts. So I'm giving you several different choices as we go through. Something you can add, but not today and not the first time through, is you can add weights. So if this is your second time through, feel free to add light weights. These are 1 pound weights. You can also use soup cans if you don't have 1 pound weights. Do not use 5 pound weights. Do not use 3 pound weights. Use 1 pound weights if you're ready for weights at all. Okay? Let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to warm up. So whatever type of aerobic exercise you're going to do, you want to warm up all parts of the body. Many injuries happen from not being warmed up. So let's start with the shoulders. Lift your shoulders and drop them down, and lift and drop. And then go ahead and shake one arm and the other, wobbling through a wrist, both wrists, all the way up, and then wiggling your shoulders, moving around. Then go ahead and warm up the spine by curling forward and lifting up, curling forward and lifting up. It's like the Ferris wheel undulation from yesterday's practice, but just going not just forward and back, but then adding your shoulders from side to side, and then your hips from side to side. Spread your legs wider and shift from one hip to the other. And then shift your hips back to the side, through the front, to the side. Getting the blood flow going through your joints so they'll be ready for any small impact we give them. Good. Go ahead and stand on one leg and shake your others. Just like we did with the arm. Let your ankle flop around. Always good. If you have stiff ankles, that's actually really harmful if you're going to do any aerobic exercise. You want your ankles to be nice and loose. And so back to your first foot. You can hold on to a chair or the wall if you need to for this. Getting some range through your ankles. Circling. Then doing some slight knee bends, so your hips are reaching back, right? You don't want your toes going forward of your knees like you learned in squats. And then just kind of moving all sorts of different ways, getting things loose and ready. So now the basic move we're going to be doing is marching. So just like you're walking in place, you can walk around your living room if you want. And the higher you lift your knees, and the more you move your arms, the more aerobic it will be. So whenever we're going through the different exercises, we switch. If I switch to something that doesn't work so well for you, just come back to marching or walking in place or around your living room. We'll start out because we're just starting off with a slower tempo. You can walk faster if you want. Just keeping in tune with your own level. You can even just go forward and back. You can stop and bring a knee higher. So have fun. That's the most important thing. figure 8. If this is too much for your arms to be high, you can always do your arms low, adjusting everything to what works for your body. So just stepping from foot to foot, taking your arms in a figure 8 one way, and then make sure we go both ways. One way's a lot easier for me than the other, so I need to make sure that my brain knows how to do both movements. Who knows that I'm going to be reaching this way, and that's where I'm more likely to hurt myself since that's a less comfortable motion for me. So just keep switching, and you can bring your arms higher. But if you have a tendency for shoulder or neck problems, keep your arms low, but keep them going. You can have your legs be wider, or narrow, and you can take big steps or little steps. Again, just keep switching it up and having as much fun as possible. Just remember, you're always having more fun because you don't have a camera looking at you. And you can do it all around your living room. Anytime you need to, stop and breathe. So if you're starting to get winded, just go ahead and take some breaths by inhaling as you raise your arms. Exhaling, press the air out as you press your arms down. Big breaths. It's important to keep your breath going. So let's keep going, and you can keep going anytime, but if you need to, stop and take a breath. We're going to do squats. Now squats aren't fast, right? So it's not a big tempo thing. Get your legs wider and sit back. So your knees don't go over your toes. Your knees pretty much just stay in the same place, and keep them in line with your middle toes. Don't arch your back. So your low back is going to stay long. Your back's going to stay straight the whole time. You don't want to arch your back, and you don't want to slouch. Okay, so squats, they're slow, but they'll raise your heart rate, they'll strengthen your thighs, they'll make it so you can sit down in a chair without having to push with your arms to get up. It's really important. A lot of people lose that. You can raise your arms higher if you'd like, although you probably won't need to. You can squat faster than me or slower, whatever works for you. And just let your arms find whatever's most helpful to them. Squatting as deeply as you like, and breathing deeply. So all aerobic exercise doesn't have to be fast. I tell you, if you could squat for 5 minutes, as long as you got the knees for it, you get a serious aerobic exercise. And if you remember from the heart rate recovery test, your heart rate will get up nice and fast with squats, and it's so good for you. Let's just do a couple more. Now let's do some boxing. It's actually pretty good cardiovascular if you've ever done boxing. Again, you want to just take this idea of boxing for a minute or so. You can keep your feet steady. You can just get a little twist in your body. You can punch that way. You can go one and the other. You can make your own combination. When we were in karate, we were always trying to come up with combinations. And then I encourage you to let your feet move around too. Notice how is this on your shoulders. You might be better off with uppercuts. Or you can come up with some different combinations. The good old jab and the crossover. I think that's a hook, right? The hooks. Or the uppercuts. And you think, wow, that really does raise the heart rate. And then if you start stinging like, no, you sting like a bee. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Just have fun. Your arms don't have to be up. You could be fighting some short opponent. Just keep having fun with it. You can take out your aggressions here on your imaginary troubles. I guess they're real troubles. You just imagine them here. And give them the what for. Go all around. Keep mixing it up if you'd like. You don't want to get stagnant. You don't want to have any repetitive motion. And I'm not going to give you any footwork. You know, you need a boxing coach for that. I'm just going to use the same old thing I always say. Just keep mixing it up. Keep it feeling good. Keep it fun. And whenever you feel like, oh, just going on too long with this one, you can always go back to marching if you want, or just walking around your living room. And whenever you get really winded, you feel like I don't want to go on, here's something you can do. But if you're not winded, you keep it up. Keep up boxing. But once you're getting winded, you can stop and breathe deeply. Inhale, exhale. So anytime you can do that. Let's have a little fun and dance. I prefer dancing to marching anytime. Dance doesn't even seem like exercise to me. Let's have fun with ourselves and do the disco, right? Pull out all our old moves. Be Tron Travolta. Careful where you raise your arms. You probably have better moves than me. Never really good at disco. Always wanted to be though. So your best dance moves. I guess it wasn't John Travolta, it was Olivia Newton-John, wasn't it? Oh, the other thing was hustle. I remember that. Just keep going with the beat. Keep moving. The more enthusiasm you put into it, the better it's going to be for your body all the way around. The more your heart rate will get up, the more lubricated your joints will be. Just be attentive to your knees, to your shoulders, to your neck. There we go. Here's a good dance move. You know, for those of you who are following this on Facebook, I'd love to see your dance moves. You're brave enough to video yourself and put it on the post. We'd love to see it. See, I'm not too coordinated there to the left, aren't I? Something to work on. And at any point, you can just turn this off, put on your favorite music, dance around your living room. I'm sure it will be just as much good. And whenever you need to, go back to marching. Aerobic exercise out of the gym. So we're going to be doing a lat pull down. So you can reach your arms up to whatever's comfortable, but it's pulling down, pulling your shoulder blades down your back very strongly, and lift one knee. So that's assuming you have good balance. You could even do this in a chair, right? So you could be sitting in a chair lifting one knee. And you can take up the tempo if you want. Careful with your arms overhead, especially if you have neck issues. I do. I did this too long. I know I'm going to end up with neck ache. So it's not how much I lift up, it's how much I pull down. And you can even go more back, although developing those lower traps, I'm always working on that. I think I'll be working on that the whole rest of my life. Can you go faster? I can't. Get my beat again. Now it's hard to take something like this and make it fun, I think. Right? So already my shoulders are starting to feel it. So do something differently. Just keep up the lifting up with your knee as high as you can. Or how about this with the arms? Just taking them back. That works. See, I was really going off one side. Work on your balance by just staying right in the middle. I can really feel my heart rate coming down though from not having my arms up. Oh, losing my coordination. I was going to try to both. Pulling down, not lifting up. So I'm pulling down. And then back to even it out. Can I go faster? No, you can't go faster. You might be able to go faster. And you can also slow it down too. You can go half speed. Notice I'm going rocking from side to side. I can tell I'm getting tired. Keep it in the middle. That uses more of your core strength. And whenever you need to, go back to marching or walking around your living room. It's all good. It all works to keep going. That's what we're trying to do, is just keep going. One of the best exercises is swimming. Let's swim around our living room. You don't have to raise your arms high, right? Just bring them out in front of you. Your arms are getting tired though. Just go back to marching. Have a lot of arm stuff in this aerobics. See, is it better to swim across your body? Okay, try breaststroke. Do a little bend of your knees. See if you definitely getting our shoulders strong here. Be careful you're not overdoing it. You can see how if you were using the weights, I wouldn't use the weights on this one. If you work up to doing weights on aerobics, I think you should just start with it on marching. Okay, backstroke. Okay, crawl again. Finding the best way. You're going to crawl across. You wouldn't swim like that, right? You want to keep it right down next to your body. You're swimming. Oh, it's good for the wrists too. I always need to work on my wrists. Stretching them out. Breaststroke. Oh, it feels great. Do it with the hands open though. Again, you wouldn't swim that way, but while we're just feeling for what feels good, let's take this idea of swimming. Just use it for the best for our bodies. And backstroke. You don't have to raise your arms high. That our runners starting to get really tired. Go back to marching anytime you want. The default. Let's do some heel taps. Stretching through the back. Starting to cool it down a little bit. If you're not ready to cool down, if you thought, oh, my body's doing A-okay with this type of aerobics, I'm starting to get a little of that endorphin that I'm missing, you can go right back to the beginning. Go back right after the warm-up and come back, follow the way all the way to this point. You can do that a couple times if you want. We're starting to cool it down, but still not stopping abruptly. Important to keep moving and then moving gradually into a higher tempo and then to a lower tempo. Let's go side taps. Making sure this is okay for your knees, for your hips. Get fancy. Back to our good dance steps. Dancing is always more fun to me than exercising. And guess what? Dancing is exercising. So if there's the type of dance you love, just sign up for a class. Just find some friends to dance with. Back to heel tap. Let your shoulders relax. Side. Yeah, there's an arm. Feeling your heart rate start to come down a little. Hopefully feeling a little good. Heels again. Toes. Okay, toes to the side. Yeah, that arm, but we're cooling it down. Okay, getting ready to do our stretches at the end. Okay, let's stretch. Starting with the arms. Draw your left arm across the front of your body. Let it come out to the side. And the right arm stretching through the back of the shoulder. Might feel better to have your elbow bent. Okay. Then open out to the side, stretching through the front of your shoulders. Notice I want to arch my back. That's because my chest is tight, so keep your low back long. And how much can you open? Right. When I'm doing that, you can take your head from one side. Oh, that's a good stretch for me. And then the other. You can feel that all the way down to my fingers. You don't want to feel anything nervy. For me, it's the edge of nervy, but I can definitely feel the stretch. You go ahead and roll your shoulders around. Let's stretch through the triceps. So bring your elbow above your head if you can, and just have your arm be relaxed, your wrist relaxed. You can use the other hand to pull it over, but you don't want to over pull anything. So just getting a stretch through the back of the arm here. Sometimes it helps to bend your elbow a little bit more. So instead of like that, bending my elbow, that gives a better stretch. And then the other side. Starting first with the wrist relaxed, all wobbly. Then I can bend the elbow a bit more. Good. Bring your elbows and hands together in front of your face. And lift your elbows up and down. If you can, wrap around. Do that again. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, but your elbows up. Oh, I love that one too. And then the other way. So shoulders down, elbows up, hands away from your face. Good. And roll your shoulders out. Like we did in the beginning, wobble your wrists, elbows, shoulders. Good, that's feeling good. And to stretch through the hamstrings, forward bend. If you need a chair, you can stretch onto a chair, put your hands on the chair. But get a stretch through your back and through your legs. Cross one leg over to get a stretch through the outside of your hip. You can lean over to the side. That feels good. And then if you want to enhance it, you can reach the arm up. You just stretch all the way through the side of your body. Cross the other leg over. Start here. See, how does that feel? Feel good? Lean over. You might need to be next to a wall. I don't want you to fall down. And raise the arm. Okay. Finish by wiggling around. Notice what else in your body needs to stretch. I might not have covered it. But feel for what you want to stretch and make up your own stretch for it. As long as it feels good, you don't have any pain, you can stretch all day.